Okay, good morning and good evening, Mr. X's class. Thank you very much, Elizabeth, for filming. And we're here to we're going to talk about two words today. First of all, the word evident, which is the word from yesterday, Monday, November 30th, for level 4. Evident is an adjective and it means basically obvious, clear or easily seen, or obvious. So if we look at sentences, you need to make an inference when the answer to a question is not immediately evident. So if something is obvious, evident means you can see it, you look and you see it, and yes, I understand it right away, immediately. I can see it immediately. That's what evident means. You make an inference when the answer to a question is not evident, not obvious right away. Then you have to make a guess. It's more complicated. If something is evident, you don't have to think about it. You just see it. It's easy to see it. So, and we have some sentences here. It is evident now that the Earth moves around the sun, but 500 years ago it seemed more uncertain. So now if you ask people, does the Earth move around the sun, they would all say yes. So people feel like that's obvious. 500 years ago people were arguing about it. Now we know that it's true, we proved it with scientific evidence. Okay, and another sentence is, she tried to look excited, but her disappointment was evident. That would be like her disappointment was obvious. You could see that the person was disappointed. Disappointed, decepcionado. Decepcionada. If you would see something in that person's face that would tell you, oh, that's a look of disappointment, sad look. So it's obvious. In Spanish, evidente, claro, or notorio. Word families. So evidently means, ly is, for an adverb, means in that way, de esa manera. So in an evident way, in an obvious way. In an obvious way, evidently. These two are kind of, evidence is really kind of another, so we sort of know what evidence is probably, right? But evidence is the facts, signs, or objects that make you believe something is true. So it's related to this, it's not exactly the same. It's that what makes you believe something is true. So if you often hear about it with court, right? Police. If they're proving that somebody is guilty, how do they do that? They need facts, signs, or objects. So objects like if there's a murder, if they find the weapon with fingerprints on it, that's an object that proves that that person probably was the murderer, right? Facts, if they can prove that there are facts that something happened, then that's evidence. So it's what makes something obvious. But it's a little bit, I mean, the word evident really just means obvious. Like, if it's evident, I see it and it's clear to me right away. Evidence is not exactly, evidence just means, it's not necessarily something that's clear right away, but evidence just means what makes you believe that something is true. We use this word a lot in class too, like in English class, history class. Give me your evidence. If you say, I think that, if we're talking about why a character did something in a book, I think that the boy is crazy and the earth did not devour him. Why? What is your evidence? What makes you believe that? And then you have to find examples from the book. So we use this word a lot in many classes. Something to know about evidence, different from Spanish. In English, evidence is uncountable, which means if we make a sentence, for example, we need to say the police have a lot of evidence. That is correct. But we can't say many evidences. Would be correct in Spanish, but it's wrong in English. Because evidence is never plural in English. So never put an S on evidence. Kind of like advice, same thing. Or information, same thing. Never plural in English. Okay, so thank you very much. And we have one more video to make. Thanks a lot, Elizabeth.